Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. So today we will look into the topic wise solution for an basic fluid mechanics. So first question, what was the dimension of kinematic viscosity of the fluid? Now first they are asking the dimension, they have given a couple of options. So first remember the formula for the kinematic viscosity. So what is the kinematic viscosity? Kinematic viscosity is the ratio between the dynamic viscosity divided by the density. So you substitute the value or you can remember the unit. So what is a unit? Meter square by second. So once you know the unit, you can find that there is no mass, no kg, m represents L and time represents T. So you can find that L square T minus 1. So the option A is the right answer. Moving to the next question. In question 2 they have asked match the following. In list 1 they have given the couple of fluids and list 2 they have given the explanation for that particular what are the respective fluids. So look into the options. So whenever you have the match the following, you have to look into the options first. So if you look into the options, there are like either A and D are interconnected with each other and B and C are interconnected with each other. So first you look into the what A and D represents. So if you see the first one they have asked is an ideal fluid. So ideal fluid you know where the shear stress is 0. So A represents 4. So if you look in the options, either the option is B or D. So Newtonian fluid, just look into the options. The first list 2, the shear stress varies linearly with the rate of strain. So that represents the Newtonian fluid. So you can say the B tends to 1. So when you see the B tends to 1, that is the option D satisfies all the right options. So likewise you can save your time. So moving to next, estimate the bulk modulus of the fluid over a given pressure increases from 3 megapascal to 3.5 megapascal. The density of the fluid increases from 500 kg per meter cube to 501 kg per meter cube in terms of megapascal. That means you have to find out in terms of megapascal. Now what you have to find? First of all, always identify what you have to find. You have to find the bulk modulus in terms of megapascal. Now quickly recollect the formula. What is the formula? That is the bulk modulus equals to change in pressure with respect to change in density divided by the original density or the initial density. Now we have one other couple of formula, that is in terms of volume. So if it is in terms of volume, what is the formula? Minus change in pressure by change in volume by original volume or initial volume. Alright. Now here in this question they have not given about the volume, they have given the density. So we have to prefer this options. Now substitute the value, the row 1, the difference in row, change in density, original density is known, change in pressure, substitute in the formula and you get the bulk modulus is 250 megapascal. Always remember unit. In sometimes they ask in 2 decimal places, 3 decimal places or 1 decimal places. Always look into that if it is a numerical best. If there is no options and they have given a numerical best, always look into that decimal part. Moving to the next is a similar kind of questions. What will be the value of bulk modulus of elasticity for an incompressible fluid? So you know, again they have asked the question of bulk modulus. In the bulk modulus you have to find that what is the bulk modulus value if the fluid is incompressible. That means where the initial density and the final density is same, there is no change between that, becomes 0. So when you again recollect the same formula, that is bulk modulus equals to change in pressure divided by the change in density divided by original density. Change in density becomes 0. That means something change in pressure divided by 0 becomes infinite. So the value becomes infinite, that is option D. Moving to the next question. Identify the type of fluid which does not undergo any viscosity, surface tension nor the compressibility. So, in this question they have said that identify the flow. They have given the couple of options over here, and you have to find out which one doesn't undergo viscosity, not the compressibility, neither any kind of surface tension. So, we know that there is only one fluid, that is we know as ideal fluid, where it doesn't undergo any sort of viscosity, not the compressibility, neither the surface tension. So, ideal fluid is the right option. Moving to next, what happens to the viscosity of liquid with the increase in temperature? So, we have some couple of options, whether increases, decreases, increases, then decreases, then we have some little effect. So, always remember in liquid, when the temperature increases, the viscosity decreases. So, here they have asked about the liquid. So, increase in temperature leads to decrease in viscosity. Moving to next, yes, in this question they have asked the irrotational flow occurs when, and they have given a couple of options for that. It is based on the explanation, or you can say that explanation, or basic definition from the irrotational flow. So, it does not have a center axis to rotate about any axis. So, there won't be any rotation. In fact, when we talk about irrotational, the word itself says it won't rotate. Whenever the flow is moving, the axis will remains constant. It is not going to rotate about some axis. So, among all the options which has been given, you can see this will be the most suitable one. There is no net rotation of the fluid elements about its mass center. Okay. So, moving to the next question is a streamline is a line, and we have some couple of options what is and whether they have given some definitions and all of this above. So, always remember the stream function is a line on which a tangent can be drawn at a given point, and that represents a direction of that particular velocity. Each streamline, they does not coincide with each other, all have a well defined path. So, it shows that option C, as you can see displayed on your screen, the option C is a right answer. Now, in this question they have asked a true and false. So, they have given a statement, we have to find out whether this is a true or false. The equation for an streamline in a two-directional flow is given by V suffix x dy minus V suffix y dx equal to 0, where Vx and Vy velocity component along the x and y direction respectively. Now, as you recall the formula for a streamline, it was you can take Vx, or you can some textbook you can find it is represent as small u. So, what is the formula? V suffix x divided by dx equals to V suffix y divided by dy equals to V suffix z divided by Vz. So, here they have asked for two dimensional. So, we have to take Vx divided by dx equals to Vy divided by dy. Now, when you solve that, we get the same statement as it has been given over here, that is Vx dy minus Vy dx, and it is absolutely the right statement. So, the answer is true. Moving to the next, which of the following is correct statement? So, they have asked the streamline, path line and strict line are identical when. So, they have given some couple of options. So, always remember the streamline, path line and strict line are identical when the flow is steady state, neither the uniform nor other parameters, but it has to be a steady state. Yes, it is a very common and very basic conceptual questions. The viscosity of the fluid in a motion is 1 poise, and the viscosity of the fluid in rest will be in terms of poise. Now, here when we talk about viscosity, it does not depends whether it is in dynamic or in kind of static conditions, whether it is in motion or in static condition. So, the viscosity will remain same. So, if it is 1 poise when it is moving, then it will be same when it is at rest even. So, the answer will be 1. In a two-dimensional incompressible steady flow, the velocity component u equals to 1/3 of e power 3x. Then the other component v of velocity will be. Now here this is they have already declared in this question, it is a two-dimensional incompressible steady flow, and they have given the u component and you have to find the v component. Now what we can do, which formula? Yes, we have to use a continuity equation. What is the formula? Dou u by dou x plus dou v by dou y equal to 0. Now first you have to differentiate the dou u by dou x, that is u term is given, you find out the value, substitute over here, then from that you interchange the, or you can simplify the equations, you get this equation equals to dou v by dou y. Now you take this dou y in the other side and integrate on both the side, and you get minus 1 by 3 e power 3 x y plus in terms of function of x and in terms of x, because you are differentiating in terms of y, you are integrating in terms of y. So, the constant will be the function of x, which you cannot differentiate. Okay. So, option C is a right answer. The velocity potential function in a two-dimensional fluid flow is given by x square minus y square. Then find the velocity at the point 1, 1 is. Here you have to find the resultant velocity. Now how you can find out the resultant velocity? Yes, that means you have to find root over of u square plus v square. Now here they have given as a velocity potential. So what you can do, quickly recall the formula of u. What is u? U equals to minus dou phi by dou x and v equals to minus dou phi by dou y. Now you substitute the values of that phi and you will get the value of u. You differentiate and get the value of u, substitute the points, that is 1, 1. That means x equals to 1 and y tends to also 1. Find for the v. How you can find the v? Minus dou phi by dou y, substitute in differentiate that value of phi in terms with respect to y, you will get the value of v. Now again substitute the points 1, 1, that is x tends to 1, y tends to 1. And after that substitute in the resultant velocity root over u square plus v square and you get 2.83 units. So the right option is C. Moving to the next. Which of the following functions represent the existence of velocity potential in a two-dimensional fluid flow of an ideal fluid? Now here again comes a couple of questions. Among the question you have to find which among is represents an two-dimensional fluid. Now the existence of velocity potential, when they say, that means when we differentiate to predict the flow is two-dimensional, it is very easy to predict one way that So flow is irrotational in the sense that there are lot many ways. One of the easiest way to find is a flow is irrotational. To find out the flow is irrotational, what is the formula? That means vorticity has to be 0. It should not be any angular velocity. You know the formula for angular velocity, dou v by dou x minus dou u by dou y. It has to be equal to 0, that only single derivatives. So when you derive that and you get the answer, if you have square terms, so obviously it is not going to be 0. Okay. So look into which is not having. So first look into the D options and you give a try for that, and when you are solving you are getting the flow is it is equating to 0. That means it is an the flow is irrotational. If the flow is irrotational, then it has to be a velocity potential. Okay. So this is how you can find out or predict the nature of the flow. the velocity potential exists, they have couple of options, only for irrotational flow, only for the rotational flow, only for the laminar flow, only for unidirectional flow. Now here, as I have said in the previous solutions, the velocity potential exists only for the irrotational flow. So the first option, that is only for the irrotational flow. Moving to the next question. The stream function in a 2D flow fluid is given by xy, that is stream function is given equals to xy, and from here we need to find out the velocity potential. Now there is a kind of steps that you have to follow. Now when they have given the stream function, you recall again the formula of u and v. Now when we represent the stream function, that is psi equals to xy. Now it can be written in two, that is u equals to minus dou psi by dou y equals to minus dou phi by dou x. I can write like this way. Next I can write v equals to plus dou psi by dou x equals to minus dou phi. Phi means velocity potential divided by dou y. Alright. Now what you do, you know the value of psi, okay. Now differentiate with respect to these parameters. So you will get the u term, you will get the v term with the other terms. Now you differentiate that, equate it, and you will get some equations. Okay, moving to this question, which of the following is not a unit of dynamic viscosity? So looking that they have asked, please ensure that they have asked not the unit. So you know dynamic viscosity known as a poise, it is known as a Newton second per meter square, it is also represented as a Pascal per second. The only one thing is a stroke. Stroke is a unit for the kinematic viscosity. So the right option is D. Then moving to the next question is, the graph shown the relation between the shear stress and the velocity gradient of the fluid is given by, they have given the equations, and where a and n are the constants. The graph are drawn have a value of n, which one will be having the correct relationship between n1, n2 and n3. So n2, if you look, which is a straight line which is directly proportional with the shear stress versus the velocity gradient that follows the Newtonian law of viscosity. And above the line we have the other curve that is a pseudoplastic nature, which shows the n value is less than 1, and bottom line, bottom curve below the Newtonian's fluid, we have the dilatant fluid which represents n is greater than 1. So when you compile this concept over here, so we can find that n1 is less than n2, less than n3. So we can say the right option is C. Now what they have given in the question, they have given the value of u factor, value of v factor, and from that we have to find the another third component. Okay. So what I will do first, I will split the thing. Now how you can find the third factor? They have also stated that it is a incompressible fluid. So again, when they are talking the word called incompressible, you have to use a continuity equation. So what is the continuity equation? Dou u by dou x plus dou v by dou y plus dou w by dou z and equal to 0. So what I am going to do is, I am going to differentiate the u factor with respect to x and v factor with respect to y, and then I will start solving the equation. Now next, if I differentiate, partially differentiate, what will I get? 2x, other term will become 0. Now look into the next v component, what I am going to do, differentiate with respect to y. If I want to differentiate with respect to y, what will I get? I will get 2xy minus z square plus x. Alright. Now we don't have this component, we have to find what we need to find out equal to 0. Now what I am going to do is I will keep this terms other side. We will have this. I can directly write this equation. Now let's see, can I simplify this equation? Yes, I can. I can compile this and this one together and I can write 3x. So minus 3x, again minus 2xy plus z squared whole the term in dou x. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to integrate both the side. If I integrate, w becomes, we are integrating with respect to a z. This become constant, then minus 3xz minus 2xyz plus z cube by 3. Now, since we are integrating, we will have some functions. Now, what will be the function? The function in terms of x and y. So, this is the z component answer. So, in your respective choice, this will be the right answer. Moving to the last question. What type of fluid or what type of flow can be taken for granted in a pipe of a uniform cross sections? So, whenever it's talking about some kind of direction, some kind of cross section, it has to be represented with respect to uniform. So, here they have said the flow has been granted in a pipe with a uniform cross section, that means it is talking about the uniform flow. The right option is uniform flow, that is option A. Hope this explanation was well understood by you, and see you in the next video.